Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I've been on the road for a couple of hours now. I've just stopped for some breakfast. We're on the way to Inverness to start the NC500. It's been raining really heavily, but the sun looks like it's about to come out. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Let's have it. Well, I've got to say that breakfast hit the spot. So, as I mentioned, I've been on the road for about 2 hours, I guess. Left Edinburgh in the rain, and it's rained quite heavily for those couple of hours on and off. I didn't bother filming anything because it was just so wet, and now we're making our way to Inverness, and I think Inverness Castle in particular, because I believe that's where the NC500 officially starts and ends. So I've just fueled up, £37.10 to fill the GSA, and I've got my fingers crossed that the weather holds, because at the moment it's not raining, which means I can talk to you. The GoPro's playing up a bit. When I remove the external mic and I've still got the media mount on, I seem to lose audio. Don't know why that is. And yesterday, if you was watching yesterday's episode, you'll know that the NAV6 was playing up, ghosting all the time. It seems to be working alright today. Don't understand. Technology and me, we don't get on usually. So I've got my fingers crossed that it stays dry. Fingers crossed the NAV6 keeps working. If not, I'll use Google Maps on my phone, but the phone doesn't like it, particularly when it's getting rained on. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're on the road and it's all good. And I've got 106 miles to Inverness. All of about 5 minutes before the rain kicked in, but it seems to be showers because I've just got soaked and then it stopped and it's brightening up again. So I think that's going to be the theme for this NC500 road trip. It was certainly the theme last week in the Lake District and the week before in the Yorkshire Dales, although it was more rain heavy than sunshine. I guess the UK summer for 2023 is a bit of a washout, something to do with the jet stream being too low. This is why Europe's suffering a heat wave and the UK is suffering monsoon weather. Anyway, it is what it is and we've got to make the best of it. Is that rare thing called a blue sky. I really appreciate it putting in an appearance. Just getting to Avonmore. I'm going to pull into the town and get myself a coffee, I think. It's now 20 to 12. I've been on the road since, I don't know, about 20 to 8, so getting on for 4 hours on the road. I have had breakfast, but I think a coffee is going to work. chance to stretch my legs for a moment. When the sun's out, it's got some warmth. It's just when it's not out, it feels cold. It's 16.5 degrees now with the sun out. Time's riding along, it's been 14, 13.5. Not quite August weather really. Anyway, Avonmore. This will just be a whistle stop, coffee and stretch my legs, I think. Welcome to Avonmore, or Avonmore, I'm not actually sure. What I want is the town centre. Anywhere that will sell me a cup of coffee. Beautifully cut grass. There's a very beautiful old railway station. More railway stations should look like that. Right, I will manage to get a coffee somewhere around here. I need to find somewhere to put the bike. In here will do. In fact, that is the coffee corner. That is going to be perfect. Coffee hit the spot. Next stop, Inverness and the NC500. It is really good to be back in the north. It's better. My legs feel much better for having had a little stretch, and my backside is a bit more comfortable on the seat. Stop Inverness. Yeah, I like this vibe of outdoorsy kind of out mountain shops and stuff like that. But I suppose that only makes sense because I prefer being outdoors all the time. Land Rover. So I'm guessing in the winter when there's snow all around this, there's a different vibe again. There'll be people in their skiing gear heading off to the pistes. So we're now 6, there's 30 miles to Inverness. I'm going to try and find the sign that denotes the start of the NC500 while I'm there. But maybe I won't find it. Knowing me, I won't. Or I'll ride right past it without seeing it. I know how it works. And then we'll be definitely working our way north, heading towards John of Groats. Good times. Now I on the A9 towards Wick. I think I'm on it anyway, but it would be very nice to find some definitive start point. I don't know, we'll see. So signs for Ullapool, which I'm guessing aren't going to be all the way around the coast. It's going to be cutting across the mainland, but obviously Ullapool is on the route, albeit many hundreds of miles away at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to head into Inverness and see what I can find. Well, I just saw a sign for the castle, and I'm sure the official NC500 route starts at the castle, so that's where I'm heading. Of course, I could be wrong. So this is very me. This is. I just looked online on the NC500 route, and it says the start and finish point of the NC500 is no longer Inverness Castle. That'll be just there. Very me. But I've just been looking at the map, and it is in fact the A9, as I thought it was, which continues his Inverness. I'm going to work my way around here. It then continues around here, and it does actually say on the A9, I can't find it at the moment, but it does say the route of the NC500. Yeah, North Coast 500. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to get on the A9 and head. I'm going to jump between pages here. I also don't know whether you can hear me, because for some reason, as I said, the audio doesn't work if I disconnect the external mic whilst I've got the media mod fitted on this GoPro. Not that you need to know that, but anyway, I'm going to put in maybe Brora or something like that, just to make sure that I stick to the coast. It's the A9 the whole way anyway, and work my way up towards the John of Groats. So I think I didn't actually need to come into Inverness, like I said, but I'm glad that I did, because I've never seen the city and it looks really, really nice. So I'm going to hit the road again. So here we go, starting the NC500. I've seem to be having lots of issues today. The bike wouldn't start just then, nothing would happen at all when I pressed the start switch. I don't know whether I didn't have the ignition, the key turned quite properly or what, but it wasn't happy. But it started just now. I don't know where I'm going. What am I doing? That's so... I don't know what I'm doing. Right, okay. So, yeah, the bike wouldn't start. And then I fiddled around with the ignition key, and then it fired into life. I wondered whether it wasn't quite registering it was in neutral or what. I have no idea. Backpipe, there we go. And the NAV6, as I've been talking about, seemed to be banging on about on this episode and the episode before, was completely playing up. So I just cleaned the screen, and that seems to sort it. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. I hope so. I'll be very pleased if it's not actually broken and it just needed cleaning a bit. I don't know. Anyway, I've got Google Maps on as well. I'm just having this technological and mechanical meltdown, really, because I don't seem to be able to get in contact with any of my loved ones on the phone. That doesn't seem to be working. I just don't know what's going on. I've probably just run a red light. I need to get away from all of this built up congestion and modern life and just get out into the wilderness clearly. I'm in a 20 and I'm doing 22. Oh dear. And it's starting to rain again. Anyway, it's exactly as I suspected. It's back onto the A9, which is all good. So I could have saved myself an hour and not diverted into Inverness, but it was good to get my bearings and sort myself out. So A9 North, that's going to take me a long way right up the east coast until I pick up the next road, which will take me to John of Groats. I was kind of had it in my head that I'd probably camp at John of Groats tonight, but maybe I'll be there early enough for me to consider it worth carrying on. Because you know me, unless I've spent 12 hours in the saddle, it doesn't feel like I've had a full day. It said 111 miles to John of Groats, so that's certainly going to be easily within my reach today, possibly go further. Looks like I'm heading into rain again. I was enjoying some sunshine a moment ago. What can you do? It also seems like since cleaning the screen on the Nav 6 it was working okay. 108 miles, John of Groats. From Firth. If I can get down to the seafront. So I was probably 7 or 8 last time I spent any amount of time here. I did ride through it a couple of years ago, 18 months ago. Village centre, okay, let's try that way. I'm sure I will find somewhere to get a bite to eat. This is kind of what I remember from many years ago. That's beautiful. It's been a good journey so far, apart from quite a bit of rain. So it's been rain, sunshine, kind of throughout really, and I think that's going to be it for this whole trip. But at the minute it's dry. I'm a Brora. I bought myself a sandwich, nothing more elaborate than a meal deal in a small supermarket, village store, but it's good, it's enough. What a beautiful setting. Let me just show you. I like it here, and I probably played on the beaches over there about 46 years ago. I have very fond memories of it. Family holidays as a young child. Sort of thing that drives you to come back and visit it again. I think it was sunnier when I was here as a child though. I remember blue skies. It's about 14 degrees at the minute and cold. Never mind. Well, that was very, very nice to sit and have a sandwich right on the seafront. I'm going to look and see how far it is now to John O'Groats and make a decision as to whether I want to camp at John O'Groats or go a bit further. So let's have a look. That was very nice indeed. So goodbye Brora. If it's another 46 years before I visit you again, I won't be doing too bad because I'll be 100. So this is probably the last time I'll ever be here. But what a beautiful place to stop and have a bite to eat whilst doing the NC500. So yeah, even the NAV6, which seems to be okay, touch wood if I had any wood to touch, seems to be okay since I cleaned the screen. I'm going to have to keep on top of that then. Maybe, I don't know, greasy fingerprints or something were making it think it was always being pressed. I have no idea. Anyway, even that seems to think that I'm going to be there at 5:05, so that might be a good time to set up camp for the night if there's a pitch, and then go and get a proper meal instead of living off of sandwiches and stuff like that and snacks whilst on the road. That's a nice view. I'm enjoying myself, this is good. Doing a road trip like this, it still feels like I should have Ben driving in Ollie in front of me. It's a little weird doing it by myself. Don't want to jinx it, but there is blue sky and a little bit of sunshine, so that is fabulous. I might, if I see a petrol station, on second thought stick some petrol in, because tomorrow's Sunday and things may be shut, especially in the more remote areas where I shall end up, and I should have plenty. But I can remember last time I did this route, albeit much earlier in the year and on a bike with a much smaller tank, an Africa Twin, there was a degree of fuel anxiety at one point. I was very relieved somewhere near Otherpool, I think, to find an automated pump. If that's the petrol station, it isn't anymore by the looks of it. You see a lot of those these days, but there's one over there. I am going to fill up, why not? Might as well have a full tank. That will actually get me all the way round to Fort William, I'm sure. Although, looked like there wasn't any fuel, but there is. Cool. Well, the sun is most definitely still out. We're getting more and more remote as we get closer to John O'Groats. 12 miles to go. It's been a lovely ride. Now my thoughts are, I know I usually bang in 10-hour days, sometimes 11-hour days, even longer on the bike, but I'm feeling like I want to be a bit kind to myself today. If there is a place to pitch my tent at the campsite right at the tip of John O'Groats, then I will take it, even though it's only going to be about 5:15 when I get there. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what I can do is leisurely put the tent up, get myself organised, have a shower, which is the distinct advantage over wild camping, which would be my plan B. And then I can wander up to the pub, have a decent meal, a pint. I can spend some time transferring files from the GoPro onto my laptop, which incidentally last night in the tent in the dark, all cramped, took about an hour and a quarter to do. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to stop earlier today. And the fact that the sky is blue and the sun is out means I might go another couple of hours along the road and go into rain, and that would be a bit grim. I want to make the most of this beautiful weather. So that is my plan for the evening. It may not unfold that way, because as usual the plan is there is no plan really. So I may get to the campsite, find it's fully booked up, and then I will be carrying on for another couple of hours, and then either trying to find another campsite or just pitching my tent somewhere tucked out of the way. Either way, it has been an absolutely fantastic day's riding, even with the rain, of which there has been quite a lot. It's been great to be on the bike. It always is. I wonder if they're setting off John O'Groats to Land's End. It's quite an undertaking if you do that. It would feel like an undertaking on a motorcycle, never mind a push bike. Well, I have almost run out of land. If I keep going, I'll end up in the sea. I know that's not strictly true, because John O'Groats isn't the most northerly point of the mainland UK, but it is the landmark, isn't it? I've passed quite a few campsites along the way that are offering camping for £10 a night. One was even £5 a night, but it looked more like somebody's back garden, I think. Obviously the campsite that I'm aiming for is going to fleece me, because I'm right next to the sign and everything, but I kind of want to do it, which is why they get away with charging lots for it, I would imagine. Who knows, maybe I'm wrong and it'll be very reasonable. I've got a sneaky feeling it might actually be full, but it's not a problem. If it is, I will just continue on my merry way until I either find somewhere I just want to pitch the tent, or I find another campsite. Either way, it's all fine. It's only 12 minutes past 5, which is early for me. I'd usually be riding for another couple of hours at least, maybe another 3 hours. But I'm going to have an easy evening if I can. We'll find out very, very shortly. so happy that it's clear, well, clear-ish skies. A few bits of sunshine here and there. I really didn't fancy putting the tent up in the rain. Groats isn't quite like Land's End, which has been turned into a theme park. There's still a few shops and gift shops and stuff like that. That's inevitable, but it's not quite as full on as Land's End. Not that I have anything against Land's End at all. So I believe the white building on my right is the local pub that I'll get a meal in if I do stay here tonight. Get a ferry to the Orkney Isles, which would be a cool thing to do, but I'm not doing that on this trip yet. That's the pub. If the opportunity comes, there's something going on. That means the campsite's going to be full, I'm sure. We'll find out soon enough. Not quite as remote as I was hoping for then. This is Tourist Central, and then the campsite's to my right. The famous sign is just down there. There it is, loads of people around it, and cyclists. I wonder if they've done the whole great big end-to-end cycle. Hats off to them if they have. Let's find out what's going on. Success, I have a pitch for the night, and it was actually really reasonable. No worse than anywhere else. £18 for the night, much better actually than last night's one, £32.50. And I've got the badge of honour, the Route 500 sticker. Now, those of you that follow the Two Wheel Dreamer channel will know that Ben and I did the Wild Atlantic Way a few months ago, and for Father's Day he bought me a Wild Atlantic Way sticker, which I haven't got yet, but I will have. And that's going to go the other side of my top box. But the thing is, without my glasses on, I can't actually see well enough to peel the thing off. There we go, it is christened. The badge of honour put in place, which will look much better once it's got some dirt on it. It all looks a bit clean. Right, let's go and find somewhere to put the tent tonight, and then I'm going to go and get myself a meal. There are lots of people there by the sign, lots of people on road bikes. If they've just cycled from Land's End, I applaud them wholeheartedly. nothing but respect for anybody who can do that. I would love to, but I actually prefer going further on the motorbike. But who knows, maybe I'll do it Land's End to John of Groats with Ben on the road bikes. Let's try and find somewhere nice and level if I can. Have a look. I think here's going to do. That's a decent view. Yeah. It makes a change to be doing this so early. It's only 5:25, but that's nice. It means I'll get a much more relaxed evening, which can't be a bad thing. There we go. This is a far nicer campsite than last night. Far nicer. And there's my badge of honour, the Route 500 sticker. It's beautifully calm and peaceful here today. Last time I was packing my tent away when I was here 18 months ago, April time, it was so windy. I ended up chasing the tent across the campsite because it got out of my hands. It was like a kite. But today it's perfect. Well, I've got to say, this is a complete revelation. Usually by the time I've got the tent up, I'm just ready to climb into bed and it's getting dark and I've got to sort out food, but I've got a couple of hours of daylight ahead of me. And I'm going to have a nice relaxed shower, find something to eat, and then I'll be saying goodbye. And I might even do a touristy thing or two, like go and have a look at that sign. So I've showered, I'm all done, I just need to eat now, but it's still early, and when being a tourist you might as well do what the tourists do. So there we go, there's the famous sign saying that New York is 3,230 miles away. Well, I'd get wet if I rode there. So I think here's a fitting place to end today's episode, and I'm going to go and get myself a meal in the pub, and then I will go to bed fairly early because I intend to do a lot of riding tomorrow, and it's going to be quite remote and there's going to be mountains and I'm very excited about it. So if you liked today's episode, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.